So me and my dad have a tradition of every year going to one away UCF football game. We've already gone to Chapel Hill in North Carolina and Cincinnati in Ohio. And this year I decided I wanted us to go to Dallas, Texas. We didn't go to an away game in 2020 since the pandemic was still high, so this was the first time I was on a plane in about 2 years. Since my dad was going to be leaving for a business trip the same day that we'd be getting back, I had to drive to the airport myself. It was my first time ever being in the Orlando airport though, actually. I probably took way more videos than I needed to. Whenever we go on these trips, we always stay in Residence Inn because it just feels like staying in an apartment. This time my dad surprised me, however, as our hotel had a loft in it, which is where my bedroom was. It took almost an entire day for us to get out to Dallas, so by the end of it, I was pretty tired. So I headed off to bed earlier than I typically do. For our first full day in Dallas on a Thursday, I decided that our first location was going to be the Dallas Aquarium. Heading into Dallas itself was actually pretty cool. I liked seeing the city skyline. Walking into the aquarium itself was actually really beautiful. Like even before we got in, we were already seeing a lot of nature and some birds and fish already. Even though it's called the Dallas Aquarium, I'm pretty sure I saw more birds than I saw fish, to be honest. The entirety of it was really nice though. Out of all of our locations, it was probably the second best one in my book. After we were done with the aquarium, we walked over to the Nature Sculpture Museum, which actually just was a 15-minute walk away. First gallery that we walked through was one of Betye Sar. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. A lot of her work focused on mysticism and racism, from the liberation of black women and the reclamation of black representation in the media, to just the classic blackface you'd often see in like the 50s era, reclaiming it as her own, and creating it into her own character. They even had a little movie playing in the room next over to this one, with interviews from the artist herself telling on how she's made some of her pieces. Another gallery that we passed by was that of Carol Bove. It had a very unique style. All the pieces were made out of steel, but they were welded in such a way where it looked like all of them had texture. A lot of them also had cylinders in them as well, which I found interesting. There was also just an entire outside gallery that was just beautiful to walk through. They had quite a few gigantic sculptures as well. Once we were done in the Nature Sculpture Center, we walked over to the Dallas Museum of Art, which is right across the street. Since we were starting to get tired, we weren't there for too long and I didn't take as many videos. And plus I was more interested in the Greek and Roman section of the museum too. For day 2 in Dallas, I decided to have us go to the Dallas Arboretum and Botanical Gardens, which out of everything we went to is probably my favorite one. The entirety of the garden was just beautiful. I've been to at least one botanical garden in each of the cities that we visited so far, and this one definitely tops all of them. The entirety of the garden spread across 66 acres, and we managed to walk through the majority of it. There were certain sections that I walked through where it just felt like I was in a fairy tale. It had quite a few different waterfalls that were going to in different areas of the gardens, and I love waterfalls. When we went, they were also doing the event called the Holiday at the Arboretum, where they had these pavilion-like structures up that had like this 12 days of Christmas in each of them, just spread throughout the gardens. I managed to get a video of each of them, but I didn't include all of them. We probably spent at least 3 hours just walking around the entirety of the garden. Our next location after the Arboretum was the African American Museum of Dallas. This museum was a lot smaller, so I don't have as many videos of it. We were also already tired from walking around the Arboretum. They had an entire section dedicated to achievements in black sports, which I thought was cool. There was also an entire section dedicated to famous black people in history. The entirety of the museum was just laid out very well, and I enjoyed going through it. And according to the guy who greeted us, the general entrances to each of the galleries was in the shape of a fertility symbol from one of the African American tribes, but I forget which one. For our third day in Dallas, it came time for the actual football game, the whole reason why we were there. We were up against SMU, which is a pretty good football team, so I had a feeling that we probably weren't going to win, which we didn't. But the entirety of the campus was really nice, and it was still a fun game to go to. There were surprisingly a lot of UCF people at the game too, and the cheerleaders and Nitro even came as well. I obviously didn't record too much during the game since I was more focused on the game itself, but here are some clips that I took during the game.
Stay right here.
Very proud of you.
Good job. Excellent job, baby.
Hey, welcome back, Flash. Good to have you back, man.
Go, Jay Flash! Thank you.
Despite us losing, I still had a good time at the game anyways. It made the trip worth it. Even though this is only the third away game that I've been to, I think just the general atmosphere of the town in general made it probably my favorite location that we've gone to so far. I also just really enjoy spending time with my dad in general whenever we go away. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe and hit the bell notification to know when I post new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Chaos out.